Welcome to Australia's Best Hybrids 2024, presented by Tough Dog 4-wheel drive suspension. Now we're up in sunny Merimbula, or sometimes sunny Merimbula, with 10 different hybrids. And behind me, one from Fantasy Caravans, one of the fastest growing brands in Australia. Now this is the FD15A, a luxurious couples camper.
The Fantasy Caravan 15-foot hybrid van has a steel frame. It's clad with the sandwich panels, composite layer, and an aluminium layer, and in the middle the XPS foam for insulation properties. It has a 4mm thick drawbar, 3mm thick chassis, and they're hot dip galvanised. Independent suspension with Pedders shocks, Cruise Master DO35 hitch, which is standard on most vans these days.
So when Fantasy turned up with a 2500 Chev, it was a bit of an eye-opener. I don't really think you need a vehicle that big, a Land Cruiser, Patrol. They were certainly handled. It's got a 3000 kg ATM, and given that it's 2430, there's 500 kilos of payload. So it is a heavy van. It's got a 200 kg ball weight. It's a steady ride, it doesn't move around, and feels capable and competent. It's got lippet sway control, but I can't say I felt that come into play at any stage during the drive. But it's a nice thing to have on the back in case you get caught in a strong wind or a truck passes and you don't expect it. It's a good safety feature to have.
In terms of standout livability features, the fully wide pure sine inverter is a big one for me. Every GPO in the camper could run an air fryer, could run a toaster, but it also runs the AC. And for me, that's huge. There's also a clever screen that goes above the bed extension to help shade that area, just to reduce the heat buildup in the aluminium panels that the extension is made of. Other livability standouts to me are a pair of Sirocco fans inside facing the bed. So at night time, if you don't want to run the AC, you can just flip the Sirocco onto its timer of 1 through all the way to 12 hours and just relax with a nice cool breeze. Outside, the layout is traditional, but in my mind, the best layout. You have a kitchen slide to the rear, fridge to the front, and some storage in between. For me, that's ideal. Anybody cooking is not going to get bumped into by anybody hunting another beer or grabbing something from the fridge.
I reckon a feature of the Fantasy brand is it's growing in reputation. It has a increasing van club, and at the same time there's also a dealer network that is increasing. And that's important for any hybrid, indeed any caravan manufacturer, to have a good dealer network. It has an interesting feature of an under awning light which runs the whole length of the van, which I think gives a nice even light when you're camping. And it also has a front wall light, which is a very handy feature when you're trying to find things at night.
The Fantasy had a couple of upgrades to its self-sufficiency. It had an additional 105 amp hour battery, bringing it to a total of 405 amp hours, plus a third 200 watt solar panel, bringing the total to 600. Those two numbers are impressive. Now we saw 820 watts or thereabouts of consumption from the AC. Now that is around 60 to 70 amps. So you're not going to be able to run it for long, but it will take the edge off. And I do really appreciate that. Now water capacity is 200 litres, which for a couple should comfortably get you 7 to 10 days.
The FD15 is a pop top. So that means when you camp up for the night, you literally have to raise the roof. The latches do need a bit of a box or a short ladder to reach. With a pop top, it's fairly simple to use, if not requiring a little bit of physical effort. The awning is electric, so that's quite easy to use. Another feature for me in terms of ease of use was that plenty of exterior bin space, and it's all fairly easy to get at.
I think one of the innovative features over the back of the van is the tent cover on the bed. They've upgraded their battery management system. They've now got pass-through power supply. Another thing that Fantasy do, and it probably plays on their name a little bit, the Fantasy, you can option all sorts of different decals and colour combinations. You can move around things inside the van. They're really happy to play with redesigning inside, moving cupboards, moving bunks, changing bunks around. But I think the thing about being able to option your own colour schemes, that's really clever.
The Fantasy has 5-year warranty on the structure, which is the chassis and the suspension. There's a 1-year manufacturer's warranty before the original equipment manufacturer's warranties kick in. So then you're looking at 5 years on the projector, 2 years on the grille, air conditioner and so forth. Those are all spelled out in their warranty documents.
Fantasy's FD15 hybrid fits very neatly into a mid-range price bracket. It has a very good inclusion list, and on top of that there are some really good extras thrown in, like the Fusion radio upgrade, extra battery capacity, extra solar panel capacity. In addition, there's a Dometic dust reduction system, a diesel heater, and a couple of Sirocco fans. Now, where the fans are the real clue to the value here, because Sirocco fans are one of the best in the business. They're quiet and very effective on a warm night. You get all that for a price of $62,100, and I reckon that's a pretty good package.
It is an exceptionally fast growing brand, so it has to be doing something right. Its dealer network is growing exponentially and its sales seem to have no bounds. I think Fantasy is one to look out for and definitely one to consider if you're looking for a brand with some support around the nation.